I know one of the reasons why you clicked on this video is because you want to hear the truth and nothing but the truth. You've been thinking of starting makeup and makeup business, but you do not know what brands to invest in. And I'm going to be reviewing this product based on my knowledge and what I've experienced in all my years of makeup. This makeup review will definitely come in handy. So do not go anywhere and we'll be right back. You're welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll first of all start with a disclaimer, and everything I'm going to say in this video or for this review is strictly my own knowledge and my own understanding. For serum, in the high-end category, we have the Glow Recipe Niacinamide Serum. This is a brightening serum and I highly recommend it because it has a very good long-lasting wear effect and it doesn't come up being very heavy on the skin. Looking for that serum that would not really select, you don't have to worry about this serum is your go-to. In the Nigerian category, we have the FBH serum. This serum for me is strictly for clients that have very dry skin. I do not recommend you to buy this serum if you have oily skin because it has a vitamin C effect to it and the moisturizing nature in it is quite high. So for me, I would go for this serum. Replace this. Yes, is moisturizer. Moisturizer for me, I like the Embroyolise moisturizer, and that's because it's more like a moisturizer and priming effect. So it doesn't give you too much hydration and it also doesn't give you too much priming effect. So it's a balanced moisturizer for all types of skin. Either way, you fall under this category. When it comes to cost effective and giving me a very relatively better result, I'm all for the win for this. Nigerian branded moisturizers that still give me a good win. I would do the Msmetic Bomb. Msmetic moisturizer is still that one moisturizer in the Nigerian family that doesn't have so much moisture when you put the reasonable amount. But the problem I have with the Msmetic one is that they have double moisturizer. There's one that is oil proof and there's one that is waterproof. So most of the time it's just a bit confusing as to people knowing which is which. But please, just so that you're on the safe side, if you must purchase the Msmetic moisturizer, get the one rated moisture bomb because this for me is the deal breaker. Becharm All-in-One moisturizer. I think this moisturizer was not really made for moisturizer for complete guys. It is written here: face primer, moisturizer, sweat block, sunshade. Do not buy this if you are looking for an active moisturizer. More like a primer than a moisturizer. So for me, this is a no for moisturizer, but it's a yes for client that has very dry skin as a primer. On market, we also have the FBH moisturizer. This is a total win for my dry skin girlies, right? This moisturizer is super amazing if you have dry skin. If you have oily skin, please do not come in this box. And for primer, one of the primers that I really like also is the grip primer from the Msmetic Hydro grip. This is what the grip primer looks like. Nigerian market is the Msmetic grip primer. Yes, the Msmetic grip primer. Now the Msmetic grip primer has both. It has a matte finish and then it has an aqua finish. Friends, or my go-to in these two primer is the milk primer. Now, one of the difference for me is that the Hydro Grip Primer has a way of scaling. Once you apply it, it tends to like peel. I don't know why it does that, especially the matte one. So if you must get the grip primer, I highly recommend you to get the aqua version, and you must make sure to massage properly. So for me, for Nigerian brand, we have the Sylmack decay pore invisible. It's more like a pore filling primer. Okay, it doesn't do any mattifying thingy. So when they say pore mattifying, I'm so sorry, it's not going to mattify for you. So in the US category, we have the Smashbox photo finish. I just finished one and this is a restock and I cannot find the finished one. but it is one primer that I always have in my box because it gives me that very smooth canvas. So if you cannot afford this due to the price, I would definitely recommend this. This is the actual matte primer where you have oily skin for your T-zone, areas where you produce more shine. Mehron touch up anti-shine, and it has been working wonders for me. My go-to for an alternative is this product, and one of the reasons being that it is a mattifying, like it's an instant mattifying feel that once you apply to those regions, all you need is a very tiny pee, and that's good. But one thing I really do not like about these primers is that they have to do color range. I think they have 4 shades there, and trust me, you do not want to go through all those struggles as a makeup artist, especially when you're in a hurry. Okay, you just want one tone that work magic for all clients. So next up, still on the primer, there is this Nigerian brown Gentle Dough, and I think for affordability, this primer is pretty good for the result. It's true to what it says. My advantage to this primer is that if you do not have enough box to buy the high-end, I actually recommend this product, but the application technique is rather difficult, please. So one of the secret tips I'm going to give you, again, is that when you want to take this product, always take the portion you want and ensure you cover it tight. It has this thing where once you take the product and leave it open for a certain time, you're just going to get dried, and once it's dried, it's useless. Next up, we're going over to the sweat stuff on the toner. One of the difference between this product is that the stock sweat is usually a bit stronger, like it feels a bit more heavier than the toners. So toner is a bit more lightweight, but it will not excessively hold in the sweat for a very long time. I see a lot of makeup artists use the stock sweat for everybody. Not everybody's sweaty, girl. You need to know the client that is sweaty. Ask them questions, let them interact with them. Know if they're really sweaty before you can apply them. If this have no business under your eyes, no business whatsoever under your eyes and around your cheek areas, because those are the areas that tend to get very cakey and heavy along the sides of your makeup. So I'm going to be comparing these products for you. For the hydration, when it comes to hydration, I am a very big fan of the Urban Decay All Nighter, especially the Cactus Flower Water, because it has a very good vitamin C impact and it gives a lot of hydration. So for the Nigerian drugstore version, we'll do the Becharm Ageless Ideal Matte and Fix. Not buy this and be deceived when you're trying to buy the matte spray. You're buying this, you're definitely going to get hydration with it. Alright? So if you ask me which is my favorite among both of them, I would say the Urban Decay because they're a bit more lightweight and then it gives you more hydration. But when you're trying to save up a little box, you're trying, not a little, I'm so sorry, if you're trying to save up a lot of box, because the price difference between the both of them is quite massive and you're trying to work on a budget, I would highly recommend you to go for this hydrating spray because it would also give you an almost similar effect. So I'm also going to be talking about my continuous setting spray, and for the continuous setting spray I will be showing you the Morphe. Morphe is one top girlies you should have, but there are some setting products that, oh my god, you cannot just do without. This product would actually make or break your makeup. So Morphe is actually in that category, although I have a problem with the purples. Most times because the purple is a bit too tiny, it doesn't really come out as much as I want it to come or as less as I want it to come. It just goes freely. So that's my major problem with the Morphe. It resonates with my brand and it doesn't give me a very matte finish, and it also doesn't give me a lot of a dewy finish. It just helps me to break down my makeup instead. For Nigerian brand and alternative setting spray that I like to work with, and you must have seen it in most of my videos. If you haven't, you could click down below to watch most of my videos. Alright, now the spray is the Nia Beauty setting spray, and this spray is also very good. My review on this spray is that it just helps me to break down my makeup in stages. It doesn't have or add any hydration to it. This will not. It will just leave your makeup the same way, but must have done some magic on the brow, if I must say, because it does the work. So if you're trying to cut costs and cannot afford your Morphe, this spray is one setting spray you should have in your box. I'm going to take out a few time of yours just to interrupt the process of this video to plead with you to please subscribe to our channel. That will mean a lot to us. Like this video, share this video, and comment down below products you would like us to review more. We might not trust in all the products you have, so you just let us know what products you want us to review, and I'll take my time to buy these products, review them, and drop my honest review. Next up, we're going over to foundations, and I'm going to be reviewing my foundation based on my personal reviews or my personal take. So first foundation I'm going to be talking about is the Huda Fox Lux Luminous Foundation. Now, one thing I think Huda Beauty has actually changed the texture to this foundation, because at some point the foundation was a little bit too heavy, and then right now it's not as heavy as it was when it first came out, but still has that full extreme coverage for me. So if you are that makeup artist that you do not like your client to look too heavy or look too cakey, please do not buy the Huda Beauty foundation, because it is a full coverage foundation. You're going to waste your money if you buy the Huda Beauty foundation and expect a sheer fit. Estee Lauder foundation is one of my best foundation because I like the texture. It is not thick, it is actually very light, but it is beautiful. But my problem with the Estee Lauder foundation is that it doesn't really have warm colors. It has a lot of very cool look and very subtle makeup, where you wear makeup and you don't see those red outbursts. Estee Lauder foundation will be your best friend, but if you're looking out for foundation that has a lot of colors and textures and warmth, Estee Lauder foundation will definitely not tick that box for you. I love it for the texture, but color range, no. Just for the purpose of these videos, I'm going to be listing out the names of the foundation that I have in my box, just to aid you when you want to buy foundation. I also have the Juvia Place foundation in my collection, and Juvia Place foundation for me is more like the Huda Beauty foundation, just a bit cheaper. So if you like a full coverage foundation and you cannot afford to get the Huda Beauty foundation, the perfect dupe for that, in still the US brand, is the Juvia Place foundation. This foundation is very good when it comes to getting texture, or women of texture and then you need a foundation for full coverage. I highly recommend. And least I forget, this foundation is matte. This Juvia Place foundation is actually a really matte foundation. You want to use a very small quantity, blend thoroughly, leave it to dry. For my girlies that do not want to do like the whole makeup process, once you leave this to dry a little while, you'll notice that your face is matte before topping up with powder, and you're good to go for your event. Next up for foundation that I loved after using and I never stopped buying is the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. See this Charlotte Tilbury, the consistency is, oh my god, like it is not too thick and it is not too light. And because I am a strong preacher or a strong believer of testing foundation before buying multiple shades, I only have 2 in my box. I am done using these 2 and I know that I'm done with them. I can then purchase more shades, but right now these 2 are what gives me so much up. Next up, I would be talking about my favorite. Like, I cannot achieve any makeup look without infusing this foundation in somewhere, somehow. And that foundation for me is the Fenty Dewy Hydrating Long Wear. this is a super lightweight and very watery foundation, so I do not recommend you use this foundation alone. No, Juvia or Fenty's, I almost literally use everything Fenty in my box, but there are certain products of hers that makes it or ticks the box for me. So when you want more coverage, I recommend the bottle foundation, but because of me, I have other foundations that are full coverage, so I like this one just to liquidize the effect for me and make my foundation feel a little more runny and easy to apply. So that is that for our high-end brand. I'm also going to be talking about our Nigerian brand or our Nigerian drugstore brand. So one good thing I'd like to say about the Nigerian community is I like the fact that there is a very good healthy competition going around the Nigerian family or Nigerian market strategies. But my major problem before I even begin to talk about these foundations in general is that there is a lot of comparison. I feel like they are equally just using probably the same manufacturers, or they are just copying themselves. So you have one foundation which is quite similar to the rest foundation. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel over the years of using multiple brands with foundation. Do not buy similar colors of foundation from multiple brands. If I have a V-Beauty foundation in a yellow tone, I would not buy that same foundation in a Sylmack foundation, because I kid you not, they almost have similar textures and similar strategies, except when you want to buy their different formulas. But that's just my major secret. Top of the list for me today is this V-Beauty long wear foundation. I don't know what she was trying to do, but you see this foundation here is one foundation that I used for the longest of time. Now, and one of the reasons why I like this foundation is because it is easy to blend as opposed to this foundation that has like a bit of a texture. And I totally relate because this is a full coverage matte foundation. So full coverage matte foundations are more likely to have difficulty blending, unlike foundations that are more medium to light coverage. So this for me is like a checklist. But my problem with this foundation is her color variations. I think her color variations to this foundation is totally difficult to work. You must have in this foundation have the dark skin. You see the likes of maroon, chocolate pie, angel food, and ebony. Her light shades are a bit not working for me. They do not work for me. I also like the Sylvimak foundation. Or if you must use this foundation, there are certain prep routines that work. If your prep routine is a little too matte, this foundation will break. So you need more moisturizer and more hydrating primers to make this foundation work well for you. This last but not the least Nigerian brand that I like the FBH new foundation, because it is not giving a watery, it's not giving a matte look, it's like just a perfect blend. And then the color tone made a lot of sense. Like my color 3 is my must have, color 4, I think these two are my must have right now. One thing about the FBH foundation I will tell you is that it is beautiful once. Now for concealers. I only have 4 concealers that are my go-to right now, and I love them. I've been using them for 3 years and counting, and these results, I do not joke with them. The first concealer on my list is the Born This Way concealer. Born This Way concealer for me is one top concealer, but I have a problem. I feel like the undertone is a little bit too thick. Not undertone, the texture is a little bit too thick. So whenever I use my Born This Way concealer, I would definitely always go in with my Juvia Place concealer just to loosen that up for me. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Juvia Place concealer is a little too light and this is a little bit too thick. So I must mix them together to give me what I want. Another very good concealer that is a win-win for me is the Tarte concealer. It is not too thick and it's not too watery, and it is very beautiful under any circumstances. My problem with the Tarte concealer is the undertone and the shade range. It has more of the white gray finish than warm shade, but if you have every other of these concealers that have those color, then you can just use this to help you balance your makeup look together. Coming over to the Nigerian branded concealer and Nigerian drugstore concealer, I would say the Younger Beauty concealer stood out for me. Nuban Beauty concealer stood out for me. But now, the Nuban Beauty concealer had a very good consistency when it came out, and it was amazing. But along the lines of their journey, their light shade concealer just doesn't tick the box anymore for me, and that is because it became a little too watery. It did not just even become watery, it became, instead of lifting. So the technique I always use in applying this concealer when it started giving me that problem was I needed to mix it up with a concealer palette. But using them alone, you definitely not get as much results you want to pop down your eyes. So right now for me, the Nuban concealer is a no. I want to talk about the Younger Beauty concealer, and so far so good. The consistency is still good. I still do not like their color 1 and color 2 because I feel like the color 2 does not really relate to really Nigerian on the 2. They could be like a 2.5 or something, because the difference between the 02 and the 03 is a little bit too massive. So texture right now, this is good, and 03 is like a perfect dupe for fun. Who knows the LA Pro Girl font? So this is like a perfect dupe for fun. Next up, we're talking about the Bobbi Brown powder in the shade Golden Orange. I love this powder for the warmth. It has a very nice warmth to it. So this powder is like one of the powders that has given me that warmth to most of my clients. But the next stop on our powder category is the Evergreen MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. Now I feel this powder has like a very glowy feel to it. Not like I feel it does have, it has like that luminous feel to it, and it's one of the highlights of why this palette has been in the market thus far. The good thing is, because of the price increment now, there is a dupe, and it's the Sephora Multitasking Big Face Powder. It is buildable and still will give you that very lightweight feel. The major problems a lot of people have with the Sephora is knowing right shade and what to use, because it has like a color variation. My problem is that it doesn't really give a lot of warmth tone. The colors are usually pale, white, or straight up brown. They don't have like that very orangey or golden tone. The only golden shade they have is almond. They don't really have it like that of the Bobbi Brown, which I just showed you. So I buy the Bobbi Brown because it has that yellow tone, and I buy my Sephora and MAC because it has that balance of the white and the brown tone. And then to the star of the show in terms of powder. When I'm talking about powder, you see my Fenty powder. Fenty powder is a must-have. Fenty powder does the job for me. Yes, I'm also going to be showing you the powder that I have in my box, just so that you can make your process really easy. One shade that should never be scarce in your box when you're trying to set up the shades. I went into it. So far, so good. That's where we're going to be stopping. Thank you so much for coming to the end of our video, and I cannot wait to see you in our next tutorial. Please, before you go, I know you love what you've seen so far. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already subscribed. Please also turn on your notification button so that you'll be among the first few people who get the notification when we upload all our videos. Like this video so that the YouTube can actually help us promote it more, and people who need to see content like this will also see it more. Thank you.